Hey guys, this is episode 1, and I'm basically breaking down my barrel battle test animation that I did with the Viking. I'm going to let you know some of my process and how I went about creating this piece of animation. Testing. Anytime I'm creating a new puppet, I spend time playing with how they walk, playing with how they run, doing some dialogue, doing a more advanced action so I can find some of the limitations of the puppet, how dynamic I can go, what kind of timing I can push, what do I need to sell weight, whatever. It's problem solving. But it all starts with basically an idea that I choreograph. Usually I run my stuff by Shell and Aiden, my daughter, and we basically come up with a basic idea. The first thing I do once we've choreographed something is I feel it in my body. That's the first thing. One of my old teachers said, get out of your chair. And this is a really common thing with animators, is they do it all in their head and they don't get it out and feel it in their body. So me feeling the movements and the weight shifts and the balance that take place during certain actions easily put me on the right track into understanding what the body's doing physically as I'm trying to put it on my puppet. So now to get our timing. And one of the little tips over the years, something I learned on Paranorman a long time ago, was I would toy time things. And I have an app on my phone that it's just a stopwatch basically that'll tell you how many frames for a certain action. And I remember the first time I used it, one of the cameramen was like, how many frames is it going to take for your character to get from here to there during an action? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I have no clue. I mean, I'd have to block it out and kind of figure it out. So I call it toy timing. And one of the first things I did was I took my Viking character and my daughter and my wife and everybody got in the room together and we acted out the choreography that I thought was going to take place. And we timed it out, so I had a little bit more information. I will draw out all the poses before I start. I'll come in with sheets of paper with these little thumbnails. And then I realized very quickly that I can't do all the things I thought I was going to do, or because stop motion takes so long to do, you get new ideas. Having ideas in the middle of the animation, originally I was just going to let the barrel bounce, but it was stuck there overnight. And I'm like, whoa, he's pretty close. Maybe I could have him catch the barrel and like chug it down and then throw it away before he does his yell. And so that was one of the improvised moments that I thought, it pushed the animation a little bit longer, but I was like, that'd be cool. And how am I going to animate chugging water? I don't know. I waited till the very moment that last frame came out, and I went into the kitchen and I grabbed some white, some clear cellophane sandwich wrap, and I put it on there, and it looked great. And that's the magic of what we do. Usually through most of my animations, I just use a 5-pound weight with a bunch of wire attached to it, and I will wrap all this around the characters and support them that way. But for this animation, I just got this really beautiful new toy, which is allows me to do some much more precise animation. So I got to use these with a vertical and horizontal slider attached. I'm also working with 3 different animating aspects all at the same time. I have different barrels coming in. I have a character who's interacting with barrels, jumping while another one's coming in, and it can get really complicated. When I animate by feel very often. So even though I have some base ideas that an action might take 25, 30 frames, whatever, 10 frames, whatever it's going to be, I feel it. And it's just like old school when you're doing 2D animation, you're flipping your papers and you're watching them, you're like, oh, I need some more in-betweens here. There's a little more hang time at this point. When I press play on my clicker, my picture taker, I feel it. I feel the flow as an action's beginning. I feel the force driving through the body. I feel how much hang time one of those barrels might need. And as you're animating it, because I didn't have numbers on the barrels so much, I'm just feeling it. I'm like, okay, they're floating. Stay up there a little longer, a little more hang time. And you can take out frames sometimes in animation to like punch up your spacing and timing. But when you're interacting with 3 moving animated objects all at the same time, if you take out frames for the Viking to maybe punch something up a little faster, it will throw off all your barrel animation, right? So I was kind of locked into a very, a much more precarious scenario as far as being able to adjust my work. This puppet has been tested plenty now to where I basically am ready to move on to my second character, which I'll be actually covering here as I go through that whole process. But basically creating a Bible of what that character is going to move like, and also upping my experience points so that when I get into the real filmmaking, I feel very comfortable and I just can move and perform instead of bumble my way through it.